Hi, this is Ms. Dove bringing you the flipped instructional video for problem solving with equations. So our goal for this video and section is to solve word problems by writing and solving equations. So we're kind of putting everything together from this unit and we're putting it into action with word problems. So before we get started, let's remember how to solve equations using related equations. Okay, so this is one of them. Remember, we can also switch these spots, and so x minus 12 will give me 2. And let me change my color really quick. Sorry about that. Okay, and then 12 plus 2 gives me x, and I can rearrange that into 2 plus 12 equals x. Either of these are good to use because they isolate my variable, so I know that 12 plus 2 or 2 plus 12 is 14, so 14 is the value of x. To check it, plug it in right here. 14 minus 2, yes, that does give me 12. So when we are problem solving, okay, you can solve word problems with writing and solving an equation. The first step in doing that is writing the correct equation for whatever the situation is. Remember that when we're doing this, we're going to take our time with our word problems and we're going to make sure that we understand what's going on so that we can write a good equation. So let's look at this practice problem. Okay, we have 4 steps, but let's read it first. Sam and his sister are comparing their heights. Sam is 65.5 inches tall. Okay, so that's something that we know. He is 2.5 times taller than his sister. So we know that he's taller than his sister, and he's taller by 2.5 times. How tall is Sam's sister? That is what we don't know. That is going to be our variable. So I'm going to say that x stands for Sam's sister height. Okay, so what is our equation? Well, we know that Sam is 65.5 inches tall. We also know that he's 2.5 times taller than his sister. What does that mean? If something is 2.5 times something else, that means you're multiplying it. So we have 2.5 times his sister's height, which we don't know, we're going to call that x, equals his height, 65.5. Okay, so to solve with related equations, let's list those real quick. 2.5 times x gives us 65.5. We can switch these and say also you could do x times 2.5. Remember that we can also change this to division by taking the whole, okay, and dividing this by x to give us 2.5. And then we can switch the order of that as well and do 65.5 divided by 2.5 to give us x. This is what we want to use because this is the one that gets the variable by itself. So we're going to do 65.5 divided by 2.5. So I need to make these into improper fractions first. Okay, 65 times 2 is 130, and then we add 1. So this changes into 131 over 2. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5 over 2. Okay, remember that we talked about how when you're dividing with fractions, you can multiply by the reciprocal of the second fraction. We also talked about how you can cross simplify before you multiply, and I see that I have a 2 that's diagonal from each other. They cancel each other and they become 1s. So 131 times 1, 1 times 5, and last I just need to simplify this. So I'm going to do some division. 5 goes into 13 2 times. And 5 goes into 31 6 times with 1 left over. So Sam's sister is 26 1/5 inches tall. Okay? Okay, I challenge you to pause the video and try this one on your own and see if you can find the equation that goes with this problem. So this says a zoologist is recording the loss of deer in a forest. She notes the number of deer, D, there's our variable, in the forest on January 1st. 1 year later, there were 73 deer in the forest, which is 19 fewer deer than there were a year earlier. What is the number of deer in the forest on January 1st? Okay, that is what we don't know. So D stands for deer in January. We do know, okay, that to get to a year later, okay, there's 19 fewer deer. That means the deer in January, take away 19, gives us what we know now, which is 73. So 19 fewer than, if you had to figure out 19 fewer than 20, you would do 20 minus 19. So that kind of helps your brain think, what's the correct order for this? Okay, so my correct answer is going to be D. Now, if I wanted to take this one step further and actually solve a related equation, okay, another one would be D minus 73 gives me 19, okay. And we could also say, so I guess B technically could work. However, this is the best one because it goes along with the words up here. But then we could also do 19 plus 73, and 73 plus 19 is going to give us that number of deer either way. So if I were to add that together, there were 92 deer in January. Okay. So today we reviewed how to solve word problems by writing and solving equations. Your next steps are to look for a flip follow-up session in your live session schedule, request a target teach for additional practice, and attend help lab sessions for extra support and have fun.